Hello and welcome to our new series, Thinking Forward. I'm Kirsty Bullen.
And I'm Sarah Miskell. Over the next 12 weeks, we'll be meeting rural innovators, entrepreneurs and business people who have literally thought forward.
From niche to export, boutique to just plain big, these people and their enterprises are inspiring and totally Kiwi. We thought, what best way to kick off our new series than looking at the future?
So have a look at this.
The Minister of Tertiary Education, who's also the Minister of Economic Development, recently stated that this economy needs about 1,200 graduates coming out of the university system every year with agricultural science qualification. Currently we have 250 coming out. Way short of what we need.
As a school, we were concerned about that ourselves, but we were also concerned that it wasn't just an issue for St Paul's, but it was an issue right across the country.
We have forecast our employment requirements, and for graduate level alone we need over 1,000 new people a year coming into the industry.
We have 100 in agricultural science. We have 80 in farm management and agribusiness. We have maybe 120 in food technology and only 20 in food engineering. And that's the whole of our economy.
There's currently no structured senior secondary school course to encourage and interest students into careers in the agribusiness sector. And so what we look to do at St Paul's is to introduce a course that's designed to prepare them for tertiary careers at a tertiary level.
It's a tremendous initiative for encouraging enthusiasm amongst the young, for them to understand where their great future might lie, and they'll be coming to university and then out into the workforce better prepared.
I come from a farming background, so I thought I had a basic understanding of what goes on. But in reality, there's actually so much more technology involved in farming nowadays, and from all the field trips we've done and the speakers coming in, technology is actually going to become a huge part. So, that's one of the things I have learnt.
So the intention is to trial the program at St Paul's, and once we've produced a viable program, then intention is to roll it out to other schools throughout the country. So what we'd like to do is to also raise the awareness and change the perceptions of the community towards agriculture and agribusiness careers in general, and also to change government thinking on national curricula, because what we'd like to do is have agribusiness as a standalone NCEA subject by 2017. The Centre of Excellence building is designed to have a multi-purpose function. Primarily it is a virtual classroom where students will come in and will be able to contact the outside world without actually ever leaving the classroom through the IT and digital technologies that we have available. Secondly, the classroom can also be expanded into a much larger seminar room capable of handling up to 150 people, and we're making that available to our partners and to our local community for use.
So interlinked with this development of the Centre of Excellence is the increase in the boarding capacity. We need to be able to not just cater for students in the Waikato or the Hamilton area that are interested in the Centre of Excellence, but also students from out New Zealand who may want to take part in this activity and need to be accommodated in our boarding hostels.
Look, the great thing about having a Centre of Excellence in agricultural science and business is that it takes those possibilities about a career in the land-based industries right into a school to the correct age where young people are making choices about careers. It then provides specialist education that's linked later on to a university, that's linked from there straight into a rewarding job from which you can build a career.
I had considered going shepherding, but this course has opened up my eyes to the job opportunities in the agriculture industry. I'm going to Lincoln University as I'm interested in becoming a rural banker.
One of the things this Centre of Excellence program has drawn out of the Waikato community has been a real interest from companies such as ours, and an interest in not only getting involved but in really taking this forward so that we see young people coming into the industry.
The Centre of Excellence at St Paul's Collegiate and the way it's spreading the information will enable students to learn much more about agriculture while they're doing their school studies and throughout different disciplines, so that it's not just agriculture but it's through science, geography, history, economics, politics, wherever, because it's food that controls the world.
We think this is truly cutting edge. An agribusiness program for secondary schools with the plan to make it part of our NCEA system within a couple of years. Where did it come from and who is behind it? I spoke with Peter Hampton, Deputy Headmaster at St Paul's in Hamilton.
Back in January 2013, St Paul's Collegiate School hosted a regional Young Farmers Day, and at that meeting, a number of our parents who are involved in agribusiness began a discussion on why schools in New Zealand weren't offering agribusiness as a subject. And from those early beginnings, we actually set up a think tank of interested people from the agribusiness sector in the Waikato, along with ourselves at St Paul's. That think tank developed into an advisory group, and we began the idea of creating a new NCEA curriculum for schools in agribusiness that was primarily being driven by the sector itself and the force behind it, rather than by the schools or the educationalists themselves, which was quite a different approach, quite a different way of looking at it. During 2013, that advisory group met several times and began to sort of formulate some ideas. And I guess from the school's perspective, Headmaster Grant Lander has a commerce background and I have a science background, so an agribusiness kind of fit between the two of us seemed to be really good to us. So we took the idea and we advanced it at the stage where we realised that we needed to have funding to put such a program in place. So what happened was that we set up an idea of a private-public partnership whereby we would seek 2 principal partners and 10 corporate business partners to fund the development and resourcing of a new curriculum. Alongside that, St Paul's Collegiate Board decided that it would build a new Agribusiness Centre of Excellence, a building which has just recently started, a virtual classroom to highlight the importance of agribusiness. When we surveyed our parents, we found that 55% of them were involved in agribusiness somewhere along the value chain. So in order to meet the needs of our students and parents, that was a primary concern for us. As we explored it further, we realised that across the nation this is an important thing because there's a huge need. The government has set targets of having another 20,000 plus people involved in agribusiness. Our sector were telling us they could not get trained tertiary graduates to take up the many jobs across the sector. So we believe it was also good for New Zealand and good for the New Zealand economy.
It's a really great concept. So how did you make it become an actual reality?
First of all, we had to go to our board for approval, and the board also saw it in the same light as the management, that this was a fantastic idea. So the advisory group was formally established, and I began working with the advisory group to put forward some draft ideas for a curriculum. So we got those ideas from a number of corporate CEOs in the industry who came forward and said, we believe if we were at school today, this is what we'd like to be taught before we go into an agribusiness related career. And that was really the starting point for us. So from that, I actually floated the idea amongst students at St Paul's, and last year in 2014 I ended up with 44 students taking agribusiness in my very draft curriculum, 22 at level 2 or year 12 and 22 at level 3.
And what's your tie-in with the agribusiness partners that you've got on board?
Right, well the agribusiness partners themselves, it varies. The 2 principal partners, who are Dairy NZ and Beef and Lamb, for industry good reasons, believe that this was a magnificent concept to be involved with. And so they are our significant funders, and they are doing it fully to develop the resources and the new curriculum. So that is their interest. They want a curriculum that all schools in New Zealand can access. And I perhaps should explain that once this curriculum is written, the intention of all the corporates and the business partners and ourselves is to give this curriculum away to all New Zealand schools.
The dairy industry, as part of primary sector as a whole, is faced with a capability challenge, and St Paul's approached us with part of the solution to that. they were offering to set up a program that addressed that secondary school entering into the industry stage. Yes, a solution around getting the best and brightest into the industry, so we're very interested in that.
How do you think the program will impact on agribusiness and science?
I'm hoping that it'll stimulate a whole new level of innovation. We've got a major role to play as a country in the global food system, and that will depend upon some very clever thinking and some strong leadership. And if we have the right people coming through from here, and if St Paul's influences other secondary schools to do similar things, then I think we could see quite a whole step up, a transformational change in the role of agriculture from New Zealand globally.
So you're here today to speak to students at St Paul's. What are you going to be talking to them about?
I want to talk to them about their aspirations and their future. I guess for us, we're seeing this St Paul's program as providing the platform for them to discover their passion. And if they do that, I think it will be a fantastic outcome for them as individuals, but also for us as an industry. What Dairy NZ does is try and help every dairy farmer in this country do better in terms of profitability, but also in terms of environmental management. This year we'll be investing about $100 million to help farmers, basically. And part of that, we're also investing in you guys. It's not about farming anymore, it's about food. And that shift, I think, is a really critical one in terms of the careers you've got in front of you. So we've got to have good quality control systems. And we have to have the ability to trace back, where did that food come from? And that's where New Zealand can stand apart from the rest of the world. We can show it's come from a clean green pasture, and you can be proud of the management systems that surround that. That's the world you guys are going into. It's a world full of possibilities that are not just about farming, they're about consulting, they're about research, they're about agribusiness. That's why we're very interested in all of you, and why we're right behind what St Paul's is doing. Because we want this program to give you the platform to discover that passion early in life and go hard for it.
I'm from a dairy farming background and really passionate about the dairy industry.
Basically, me being from an agricultural background, I sort of wanted to gain a bit of a better understanding of the happenings on the farm and the business, more than just looking at the rear end of the animal.
I love farming and I wanted to learn the business side of things, like because it's agribusiness.
Back in year 11, 2 years ago, we all got talked to about like the opportunities in the agriculture sector and that.
Got a lot of family that's in agriculture and I enjoy being on the farm and just learning about farming and that.
I didn't really know what I was going to do with my life, so I sort of just thought this is an opportunity to take and the school's offering, so I took it, yeah.
I chose this course because I want to own a business when I'm older, and I like to learn about like new things, so the ag side of the world.
I really like the cows and the animals on the farm. I think they're quite cool, and yeah, I want to learn more about them.
Yeah, I hope this is leading into university down in Lincoln next year to do environmental science, and with that I'm planning on saving the world.
We're with Year 13 students from St Paul's Collegiate School. They're part of a first-year rollout of an agribusiness program and are visiting a local dairy farmer with a robotic milking shed.
The purpose of the barn was to bring the cows inside out of the summer heat, so we're about 7 degrees temperature drop from inside to outside. We built it to a 22-degree pitch of the roof for optimum heat extraction for summer, and also that extracts heat in the winter, so that's why it still causes good airflow through the winter. Yeah. That's made a huge difference in intake of feed. If the cows are outside grazing, they stop grazing because it's too hot. So we put the cows in the barn and they keep eating all day, so we get a lift of production because of more intake of feed, and the cows are a lot happier inside.
Are they like little massaging things?
Yeah, they love those brushes. Yeah. It helps with the grooming of the cows, so it keeps a lot of the dust off their backs, and it does eliminate some of the fly. All right, so the cows just come voluntary to here, to the shed, to be milked. There's a responder at the front, so it knows exactly who she is. Every time a cow comes in here, she's weighed, so it tells me whether she's gaining or losing condition or weight. That's a three-dimensional camera up above the cow, and that's telling the arm where she's standing. And then it brushes the teats first for cleanness, and then scans for the teat placement, and then attaches the teats. It's all cow initiated, which is good, so there's a lot less stress on the animal and a lot less stress on me. Next one enters. The costs of running this is not a lot different to a traditional shed. Power usage is a bit higher, detergent, but then your labour costs are lower, so they offset a bit, and obviously your production's a lot higher.
When you first got this, did you have to teach all of the cows how to do it, or did they just see?
No, the training of the first 30 was the hardest. Not so much in the robot, but teaching them to come to and from the shed. It takes about 2 to 5 days to teach a cow, depending how smart she is. Once the first 30 were trained, the others just learnt off them. So it's pretty easy now, yeah.
Obviously, this program is about a lot more than new ways of milking cows. And how will it become part of NCEA? Kerry Allen has a background in designing curricula.
This is the most exciting thing that's happened in agriculture and horticultural science for education in the last 20 years. We've had no funding from anybody for any resources or curriculum area in that whole time. So this is a group of industry-based businesses that have come together, put some money forward so that we can teach the students what they need to know in the agribusiness sector. For me as an educator, it is cutting edge and it's exciting to be part of it. I'm really enjoying my role, and yeah, I'm loving every minute of it. It's getting the students where they need to be for the future. So our long-term strategy is to get agribusiness as a curriculum subject. So we're going to be working closely with the lead schools, industry and the universities. We're going to be writing a curriculum and achievement standards for agribusiness, and we will then take that to the Ministry of Education and seek approval from them, and hopefully it can be a subject curriculum area. So ultimately they'll have the end say in that, but we're hoping to seek approval from them and then make it a subject and be assessed by NCEA.
Last November we actually had a turning of the first sod for the building, the Centre of Excellence building, and the Honourable Minister Nathan Guy came and turned the first sod for us, and we had an occasion where we actually acknowledged our business and our corporate partners here at school.
With the government's support, we are so close to completing a best practice exemplar of how schools, how businesses, how communities and government can work together to effect change.
This is a challenge that shouldn't be just driven by government alone. Industry have shown faith in this Centre of Excellence by putting their hands in their pockets and helping to fund it. And this is a great example of a collaborative process where industry is linking through with education, and we can make a real difference for the future of the primary sector.
What our plan is that next year in 2016 that 8 other schools will join us and become the first schools to trial the draft standards. So from the Auckland region we have Mount Albert Grammar, ourselves representing the Waikato, we have Fielding High School for the Manawatu, Lindisfarne for the Hawke's Bay, Christchurch Boys for Canterbury, we have John McGlashan College for Dunedin, and Southland Boys and Girls. Now those schools weren't chosen at random. Dairy NZ and Beef and Lamb wanted to make sure we got a good representative cover of the regions, because they want to hold or make sure that there's one key school in each area that can be the lead school that others can follow. What's quite exciting is that one of our business partners, who's the National Field Day Society, have agreed to host our next lead school days at the field days, and we of course, are being an official partner with them, will be showcasing our agribusiness curriculum at that point. Look, it's really important for New Zealand to change the perception of agribusiness and agriculture, particularly among urban students and urban parents. So this curriculum is designed to be taught in any school in New Zealand. One does not need a farm to teach agribusiness. We see the development of the agribusiness program in New Zealand schools as incredibly important to the New Zealand economy. And in fact, it's a global outlook for New Zealand. Now, we are approaching the government and saying, look, we have a fully resourced curriculum ready for you, developed by the private sector in conjunction with experienced educationalists. And what we're wanting from the government is for you to put some money in and to retrain some teachers, because that's the other missing part of the ingredient. We need lots of agribusiness teachers in New Zealand schools.
The Centre of Excellence at St Paul's Collegiate, and the way it's spreading the information, will enable students to learn much more about agriculture while they're doing their school studies and throughout different disciplines, so that it's not just agriculture, but it's through science, geography, history, economics, politics, wherever, because it's food that controls the world.
Join us next week when we visit a dairy farm that's outperforming norms and nominated for an Environment Award.